Hi everybody, welcome back to another long ramble. Thanks for all the feedback. The one that I put up on Monday night was good. It went down really well, actually. I was surprised. I thought it would be really boring and that nobody would really like it or whatever, and people would sort of turn around and say, Sips, play some games instead of just talking or whatever. I mean, there's gameplay footage in the background, but it's still not the same as giving live commentary on games. Some games, like I said last time, are really great for giving live commentary on, especially games where there's like a story that you can react to and things to figure out or whatever. Other games, not so much, I guess, like Hearthstone and Diablo and games like that. Games that are meant to be played and played to death. It's a little bit harder to give a commentary on because there's nothing really to surprise you. They're very grindy games, aren't they? They're games that you sit down and that you end up playing for hours and hours on end, and then you look at the clock and it's like 4 a.m. and you just think to yourself, why haven't I gone to bed? And what am I doing with my life? I have to be up at 6 o'clock to go to work. That's in 2 hours, and I'm probably not even going to shower or anything before I go. It's funny. I mean, I used to be able to do that really well, actually. Not actually openly admitting to not washing or anything like that, but back when I was in my sort of late teens, heading into my 20s or whatever, I used to work at a place called Canadian Tire, which is a really weird place, actually. It's kind of like a hardware store, a really big hardware store. Pretty sure that they're all over Canada. It's not just like a thing that's unique to the east coast of Canada where I grew up. But you have there's like an auto garage usually attached to it. They sell all sorts of shit. Like you can get like motor oil there. You could buy like those big Rubbermaid storage containers there. Christmas decorations. There's like a garden center. Sometimes you can buy appliances and stuff depending on how big the store is. Tools, like power tools and everything. It's got pretty much everything. I mean, the equivalent is probably B&Q in the UK if you're from the UK, or say Home Depot. But it's like a Canadian Tire. I don't even know if it's still going, but it's like a. It's not like Home Depot in the sense that not everything is amazingly like branded and bright orange or whatever, and like, you know, they don't have like that tushy slap logo slogan thing, or is that Walmart? I can't even remember. But anyway, so I used to work at Canadian Tire. It's like a really big hardware store. I used to have to go to work at like 5 a.m. I used to have to walk there at like 5 a.m. in like -40 weather, and it was really fucking terrible. And I used to go out with my friends the night before, and we'd be drinking, and we'd go do stuff that you do when you're that age with your friends. And we'd be out to like 4 in the morning, 3, 4 in the morning, and literally I would go home, curse at myself in the mirror for like 5 minutes, and then go to work and work like a full day shift of like manual labor, because I used to work in the warehouse. So I used to have to like unload like fucking trucks that came. Everything was loose. Thousands and thousands of boxes loose. Not even like put onto pallets and wrapped in plastic or anything like that. It was all loose. And it was ridiculous. And it would take all day to unload. And then once it was all unloaded, it had to be counted and put into like the inventory system. And then it had to be stored in the warehouse in a way that people would be able to find it, because the warehouse is fucking huge, and it was crazy. And I used to really be able to do that. I used to have the stamina to do that. Not so much now. I mean, if I went out right now and I stayed out until 4 a.m. drinking or whatever, I would literally be dead for a week. I wouldn't be able to function. I wouldn't be able to like look after my family. Nothing. And it's not even that I feel really old or whatever. I think it's just a case of having to practice. And like keeping in practice for that lifestyle, and once you don't do it like for a long time, like I mean it's been, well, I'd say years, but actually we went out a couple of times when we went to like Blizzcon and stuff. But anyway, I don't go out like every night anymore. I certainly don't go out like every weekend anymore, because that sort of side of things slow down anyway when you get like a little bit older or whatever. But I honestly, I couldn't do that anymore. It would absolutely kill me. Why did I start talking about Canadian Tire and waking up early and stuff? Oh yeah, I was talking about grindy games. So there's a nice massive 5-minute tangent for you about how I used to live my life before before I reached my 20s, which is really really nice actually. It's that like weird, it's like those weird 2 years in between you finishing high school in North America and then going off to like college or university. Like I don't know if that's still the done thing, but back when I finished high school, I just took like a year out to work and just do whatever and not necessarily have to like do anything school related, which was nice. And then when I went back to college, after I was done that, I was quite happy to get back into a classroom, just sit around all day and doodle and not pay attention. And then eventually started skipping all of my classes to stay home and play Counter-Strike 1.6 back in the day, which is really really fun. I mean, there wasn't really anything else out like it at the time. It was Counter-Strike and Diablo 2 at the time. And where I grew up and where I lived, it was very, very cold. And oftentimes I had to wake up very early to catch a bus that would take me an hour and a half to get to like college. And, you know, you couldn't really do everything online. You couldn't, it was a lot harder to sort of do things from home. You sort of had to turn up for your lectures and labs and stuff like that. But near the end of my course, I took a computer programming course over it was supposed to be 2 years, but it took me 2.5 years. I had to do another semester because of Counter-Strike, basically, and possibly because of Diablo 2 as well. In the end, I just didn't go to lectures at all. I just sort of winged it and read books and somehow managed to pass all my exams. It was pretty weird, but I was happy for it. And in the meantime, like I said, I played tons of Counter-Strike and Diablo 2, and it was really, really, really great. But yes, it is weird. I don't know if people do that. I think maybe now people probably just like go to high school, and as soon as they're done, they just like go to Harvard or whatever places that you end up going, like in the States, or maybe you go to like Oxford University or whatever. I mean, there's tons of other ones, obviously. Those are just to name a few. Maybe if you go to like another one, or maybe if you go to those ones, good for you. I guess those are like probably like the top ones in like America and England respectively. I went to a place called Algonquin College, which, I mean, in Ottawa, it's fairly well known. It's a pretty big college. It's much bigger now too. I mean, when I left, they were just like building like 20 new buildings for it or whatever. It's a pretty big place. It's pretty busy. But I lived on the other end of the city, and it would take me, like I said, like an hour and a half to get there, an hour and a half back. I'd oftentimes fall asleep on the bus on the way there. I almost missed an exam one time because I fell asleep on a bus. And it's amazing. You can fall asleep in all types of weather. It's really crazy. I mean, I was on a bus one time. It was like minus 20 outside. It was the middle of the winter. And I think the heating had broken because on the bus was really fucking freezing cold. Still managed to fall asleep, no problem. Because it was a long ass bus ride. I mean, we didn't have like iPods or anything back then either. I had, at the time, I had like one of the first MP3 players, which actually had like a full like hard drive, like a big ass hard drive in it, and you could hear it like whirring and whizzing around. It was the size of a Discman, and it had like a little LED screen on it or whatever. It was a creative thing. Look it up on Google. They're hilarious. They were literally the size of Discmans, and you used to have to put 6 batteries in them to keep them going, and the battery life wasn't amazing. But I used to have like a couple of songs on there and stuff from Napster back in the day, so I could listen to that sometimes if I really felt like it. And other than that, I would just read books or sleep. And because I was staying up like late at night and stuff like that, it was good because it meant that when I was on the bus, I could catch up on sleep that I wasn't getting otherwise because of going out and just being stupid. But it was very fun at the same time. It was very, very, very fun. So all that off the back of grindy games. Hearthstone, I'm still playing a lot of. Nothing's changed in the past 2 days. It is Wednesday today. It is the morning of Wednesday, the 21st of January. I was going to do one of these yesterday, but I didn't have time because I've just got a lot of stuff that I'm doing at the moment. Today's pretty exciting, though. I'm pretty excited about today. I'm going to be playing some Evolve for the first time with friends outside of like a sort of like conference or whatever situation or whatever. Last time I played Evolve was at Gamescom in the summer, and I got to play with Duncan and Shin, and who else was there with us? Dave Boddington was there with us. and then we had to play. There was 4 of us, and we played with some other German guy who I don't think he understood any English, and we were trying to tell him like, oh, follow us, or come on, let's do this, let's take down that big monster or whatever, and he just ignored us. And he went off and just did his own thing. I think he might have worked for a magazine or something, and he was like maybe doing like a review on like the textures or something, because he spent a lot of time just staring at walls and doing like weird shit and stuff. So maybe, but it was still very fun. But today I'm playing with Hat Films, which is going to be really good. We're all really looking forward to it. We all had some problems getting it working and stuff. It's like in beta and alpha and whatever. But we have access to it, and we're going to play it, and we're going to record it as well. So it should be pretty good. So that'll be coming out pretty soon. I think either on Hat Films channel, or I'm pretty sure it'll be on Hat Films channel, but it could be elsewhere. I'm not too sure yet. But really looking forward to that. I mean, I was saying just on Monday that I'm not really looking forward to any games or whatever, but Evolve I totally forgot about. I mean, it's not a single player game, it's not story based, it's not something that you would just sort of sit there and immerse yourself in and enjoy in that way. But it's certainly something that appeals to me. I mean, I used to love playing Left 4 Dead. I mean, I would still play Left 4 Dead now. We used to play multiplayer, like we used to play Versus, which was fucking hilarious. It was so much fun. And we used to just like play through the campaigns and stuff, and that was very good too. But Evolve is one of those games where you just play, you sort of grind through. I think there's like ranks and stuff and unlocks, weapons and weapon upgrades and all that kind of stuff. So that kind of sounds cool. But it's definitely a game that you'd want to play with like a tight group of friends or whatever, like develop your tactics and stuff like that. Same with like MOBAs. If you play Dota 2 or League of Legends or whatever, that shit's always, if you have a really tight group of friends that are consistent and that you can play with like every day, give or take, and everybody has a role and everybody is sort of progressing at the same rate and at the same skill level and stuff, that's when those games really fucking shine. I mean, like you probably have the most fun in situations like that. The worst is when you have to matchmake solo in those games. You just really want to get in there and you really want to play like Dota 2, or you really want to play some game where the game really depends on you having some sort of cohesive team or doing some sort of teamwork. And you just get landed with a bunch of people who just fucking berate you, tell you that you suck balls at this game, that apparently, I guess, all of their pro friends weren't available to play with them at the time, so they're stuck with you, and you're going to hear about it. And then, of course, you lose the game, and you just get abuse hurled at you all the time because nobody's working together and nobody's communicating. And instead of actually just trying to, win the game or do well in the game or whatever, everybody's just fighting and sniping each other or whatever. I'm sure you've all had that experience in MOBAs. I'm not sure if Evolve is going to be like that, because I think the matches are fairly quick. I mean, the monster works on his own. He has to go around, he has to kill wildlife and eat corpses and stuff so that he can evolve and gain more superpowers and stuff like that. And I think maybe for the hunter team, if you have like a really bad trapper or somebody who's never played like a class before, there could maybe be possibilities of people saying like, oh, you fucking noob, you didn't place the electric dome properly or whatever. But it's probably not so unforgiving as something like Dota, League of Legends. I wouldn't say Heroes of the Storm so much, because I don't think that game is unforgiving in any single way. I mean, just the whole mechanic, the way that the game works, the way that you all level up together and stuff like that. I mean, it's very objective based, and I suppose in that sense it could be unforgiving if you just, as a team, fail to complete any of the objectives on the map, like turning in coins to the pirate guy, or doing like I don't know, the mines, collecting skulls, or like the plant seeds or whatever. I mean, I've played it enough to know some of the maps and stuff, and it's actually very fun. But I mean, certainly like skill cap wise, and for like the competitive scene, I think Dota's probably still tops, and League of Legends either up there with it, or maybe skill wise a little bit lower. Certainly not popularity wise. I think League of Legends is just the most fucking popular game in the world right now, in terms of people watching it on Twitch, in terms of people actually playing it. I think worldwide, like months ago, they had like 30 million unique subscribers or something like that, which is crazy. So they probably have more now. But I mean, I can't fault League of Legends. I used to play the shit out of it, and I really liked it. I enjoyed it. I'm one of these people who likes MOBAs all equally. I don't have like a favorite one, and I don't feel the need to shit on any of the other ones because my favorite one is my favorite or whatever. I'd happily play League of Legends. I happily play Dota 2 when I'm in the mood for it. Happily play Heroes of the Storm, which is sort of regarded as like the babby MOBA that nobody likes or whatever. It's gonna be fun. It is actually gonna be fun when it's out. I mean, I've been in the alpha and the beta started, and it's still much the same. They're just sort of fine-tuning it and changing it every once in a while. There's new heroes and stuff. I mean, the nice thing is that it's Blizzard, right? Blizzard games are always very polished. Blizzard games are always very well designed. You know, they're sort of known for taking ideas. Like, I think the way that they work as a company and their ethos is that they game regularly themselves. So, like, at the time when they developed World of Warcraft, a lot of people on their team were playing things like Ultima Online and like EverQuest and stuff like that. And they thought, these games are great, let's make one. And they did. And they made one that's fucking amazing. It killed all of them, and nothing's been able to beat it since in that genre, which is crazy. I'm not saying that they're gonna revolutionize like the MOBA scene or anything like that, but they'll certainly deliver a game that's very fun to play, very good, and that'll obviously sort of leverage off the back of like their different IPs, all their different worlds, like StarCraft, Diablo, and World of Warcraft, and I guess Overwatch now, which is like gonna be going into beta sometime this year, soon, apparently, according to the guys at BlizzCon. So I'd imagine that there's going to be Overwatch heroes and Heroes of the Storm at some point, maybe like all the worlds combining, or whatever. That'd be kind of cool, I guess. Hopefully, it's not the one with the weird British accent that fucking giggles all the time, because it was cool at first, but I don't know. Like kind of annoying now. I like the big monkey guy, the Winston guy. I got a shirt with his face on it, the glasses and stuff. Yeah, it's pretty cool. And which has made me think of BlizzCon, which was excellent and very fun. And we had a very fun time. We met a lot of cool people, actually, as well. I got to meet Trump, who I watch all the time when I'm playing Hearthstone and in the evenings and stuff like that. And that was pretty cool. Got to meet Hafu as well, which I watch occasionally, not as much as I watch Trump. She's very good at arenas, and she's very nice. And Trump's very nice as well. And that was really fun. And yeah, we just had like really good times. Holy shit, I ramble off onto like all these tangents. I mean, looking at Reddit and all the feedback from the first rambling episode, everybody's like, "Oh, Sips, don't do them too often. You're gonna run out of shit to say." My God, I could literally do this all day. I've been doing this for 17 and a half minutes. I'm like nowhere near done, but I probably will wrap up fairly soon. I would never run out of things to say. Having said that, I will do this as regularly as I can. So I'll probably try to think of stuff to talk about or things to say ahead of time. If there's anything that you want to talk about or that you want to hear me talk about, by all means, let me know. Leave me posts on Reddit's probably the best place. There's like a mega thread on Reddit right now called Rambling with Sips Mega Thread, which you could contribute to if you want to. Try not to make too many sort of like individual posts on Reddit, because it's impossible to go through all of them, and it just, the whole front page just gets flooded with all these like single posts or whatever. Try to keep it contained into like some sort of mega thread if you see one, because that's what I'll most likely be looking at. I do go through most of everything on /r/sips. But there's a lot there, and occasionally stuff gets missed. So it's much easier if everything is centralized, obviously. So that would be good. Questions. I can definitely get people on. I'm sure I can pull people away from what they're doing for like 20 minutes to talk about something, anything in the news, anything that you want to talk about. If you want me to talk about a game that you like, that I've played before, that I have some knowledge on, or with somebody, just me, whatever, let me know, and we can do it. If you're cooking your dinner right now, or if you're driving your car, or if you're at work, or if you're just somewhere where you're just, doing something that you just need something on in the background to keep you company or whatever, you are doing it right. You're the target audience for this. I'm just here to keep you company while you do shit. And being somebody who also appreciates that, you know, like in the middle of the night when you're playing Hearthstone or whatever, and everybody like in your family's gone to bed, and you're just like, you know, for like half an hour or whatever, you're just unwinding and just chilling out and playing Hearthstone or whatever. It's really nice to just like flick on a stream, isn't it? And listen to somebody talking about the game that you're playing. And like subconsciously that's all soaking in. You're becoming a pro. Like it's like those people that learn Japanese listening to their Walkman while they're sleeping. And then they wake up the next morning and they're like, oh, domo arigato. What does that even mean? And then, you know, their wife divorces them or whatever because of moon language or you know, other issues. But I'm not sure if that actually happens. It might happen. But I mean, if you're like me, you're listening to the pros talking about Hearthstone on Twitch in the background while you're playing yourself, and you're soaking in all that knowledge, all the pro plays and stuff like that. At least that's how I like to think that it works. I'm sure it doesn't, but it is nice. It is nice to have like that sort of company, if you like, where you can just hear somebody talking about it and stuff like that. So if I'm keeping you company right now and I'm doing a good job about it, that makes me happy. And let me know as well, because I love the feedback from you guys for all of this, everything, good and bad. If you don't like it, make sure you tell me as well. I mean, you don't have to call me an asshole at the same time if you don't necessarily think that I'm an asshole. But you know, I'm not like this like delicate flower where I can't take criticism or I can't handle like negativity or anything like that. It's fine. Just let me know either way, because it's good to know. And just keep going in the community and stuff like that. Keep posting funny stuff. Keep posting stuff that you've made. Keep posting. Just keep the community going. Everybody contributes. Everybody has fun. There's always stuff to read. There's always stuff to get involved in and stuff. Not just in /r/sips, but the entire Yogscast community, like on /r/Yogscast as well. Everywhere. I mean, I go through all that as well. So if there's ever any questions or people that you would like to see on this or whatever, just let me know. And we can look at getting them in, and we can talk about stuff, and we can shit around and just be really, really, really stinky about it. And it'll be lots of good fun. Great. All right. Well, there we go. Looking at the clock, it's been 22 minutes of rambling. I'm going to have a drink of water. And then I am going to do a bunch of boring shit until Hat Films turn up. And then we're going to play some Evolve. So I can't wait. That's going to be fun. There'll be videos on it at some point. I have no idea when. And there'll be another one of these maybe tomorrow if I get a chance. If not, Friday. Never on a Saturday and Sunday because I don't come in on Saturday and Sunday because I treat this like a job in some ways where I have a line so that I can go home in the evenings and detach myself from everything and be a dad and be a husband and do normal stuff so that I'm not like up all night recording and editing and doing things like that, because it would just take over your whole life. And whilst that would be great if I just lived alone, I can't do that because I don't live alone. And it's nice to have the separation. It's nice to have that line drawn for you where you can treat it like a 9 to 5 or in my case, like a 12 to 4, 12 to 6. I'm just joking. I do work like fairly long hours, but not as long as some people. Some people work a lot harder than I do. Namely Lewis, who's crazy. But there you go. Right. Okay. Well, I will wrap up, and I will catch you probably tomorrow or Friday, and if not, next week sometime. But let me know what you think if you still like this, and I'll see you next time. I hope you have a good rest of your day or start of your day wherever you live and stuff like that. And I hope this has managed to keep you company for a brief 20 minutes of your day. Great. Okay, well, see you later. Bye. Bye.
For justice. Weapons ready.
damned stand ready.
Drink up me hearty!
For justice!
I wonder.
For justice!
Yo-ho!
Reporting for duty. Reporting for duty. Reporting for justice.
I wonder.
For justice! The battle!